This is the world of the campus vets.
This guy's a little bit thinner than what he should be, so we're trying to fatten him up a bit.
He's got a mass under his armpit. You become a little bit more concerned if the lump is growing.
I've never done a ruminostomy before, and getting to do it was great because this is a procedure that you will do out in the field.
At the Western College of Veterinary Medicine, students learn to handle the health problems of animals large and small. A great horned owl has been found in a farmer's field and brought to the emergency clinic. Mysteriously, it's unable to fly.
Those talons look, they're very impressive. They're kind of dangerous to me, so I'm a little nervous.
Students Quinn Gavaga and Gina Bowen work to solve the mystery of the grounded owl.
So he's bruised all the way from his elbow to about his finger. It's really fluidy, like it's not like blood underneath the skin, it's like water.
Suddenly, they unravel the source of the problem.
So he's got twine wrapped around his wing.
Oh, you better get some assistance.
Yeah.
You're pulling the foot here.
It seems likely that the owl was hunting prey in a haystack and got caught up in the baling twine.
And we're just trying to manipulate it to get it off, because it's probably causing him a lot of pain and discomfort.
The twine may have cut off circulation to the wing, damaging it beyond repair. If the owl can't fly, he won't survive in the wild. In the small animal clinic, intern Dr. Catherine Myrna responds to an urgent page.
Dog ate rat poison. These are what we consider true emergencies, so I need to get on the phone and get that dog in here right away. Okay, I'll see you in a little bit. It can be very serious, especially the modern mouse poisons act on the blood system, and they're anticoagulants. So although you may not see immediate problems, 1 to 3 days later, they can't clot, they can bleed and have difficulty breathing.
Owner Hal Landrio was trying to exterminate mice at home when his dog got into the poison.
And there he was, in underneath it there with his nose into the bags.
Hal's quick response may save his puppy's life.
I'll show you.
The pug is admitted right away for treatment. This calf may be sick, but he's feisty.
We've named him Poindexter. We gave him that name because he's a little bit of a nerd. He kicked one of the students when we were trying to catch him.
Poindexter has a problem. He can't burp.
So we'll just put the speculum into him, which might be easier said than done.
Student Steve Smith attempts to put a tube into Poindexter's stomach to release gas.
Easy, bud. Easy, bud. The main stomach is the rumen, which is a big fermentation chamber. Creates a lot of gas when they ferment their feed in there, and if a cow's not able to blow that off properly by belching, then they bloat. If it's not taken care of, it can be fatal because basically what happens is the rumen gets so big that it compresses the lungs and he's unable to breathe, so that would cause him to die.
Yeah, we got rumen juice.
So we can still hear the gas blowing off.
An earlier bout of pneumonia is likely to blame for the calf's condition. It may have scarred the nerves responsible for belching.
Well, right now I'm just squeezing the gas out of him, basically. He'll get a good sleep tonight. We might have to do it one more time, so we might not get a good sleep tonight.
But Steve and his colleagues have more worries ahead. The calf may need surgery after all.
This owl has twine wrapped around his wing.
Students Gina Bowen and Quinn Gavaga discover the more they pull off, the more they find.
Because the twine was cutting off the circulation to his wing, we don't know if it's still living, basically. It's very cold. If the ligament is ruptured, we won't be able to fix this bird. Okay, so it looks like we have a little twine off. We have to make sure there's no broken bones.
Resident Dr. Alana Shrubsole sedates the great horned owl before its x-ray.
Get all his wings in. Shooting.
This is the humerus, and these are the bones of the wings. And on this view, there's nothing obviously broken, which is a very good sign. So I suspect what happened is the baler twine got caught around him and caused some soft tissue damage, which he'll need to stay with us for until he can recover and we can do proper flight training with him.
The owl's recovery is far from certain. He'll need to build muscle and retrain his wings if he's ever to fly again.
Did you eat rat poison?
4-month-old JC ate deadly rat poison 45 minutes ago. Dr. Myrna immediately gives the dog medication to trigger vomiting.
You ate rat poison.
This is a drug called apomorphine, and it works on the center of our body that controls vomiting, and it works really fast. And all you need to do is put a little bit in the eye, and they're going to want to vomit within usually 5 minutes.
Student Sandy Jameson knows there's no time to waste.
If you can catch them early, within the first 1 to 2 hours, then making them vomit is a good idea, so it reduces the amount of toxin that they actually absorb.
5 minutes later,
There we go. Who's a good dog?
now the hunt is on for signs of the rat poison pellets.
No winners here. They're usually iridescent green-blue.
If they find pieces of the poison pellets, it's likely none have been absorbed. If some poison did get into JC's system, it could take up to 3 days for symptoms to appear.
Poor little guy.
By then, it could be too late. Poindexter the calf is blowing up like a balloon. He can't burp up the gas in his stomach and is in danger of suffocation. Now he's being given local anesthetic in preparation for surgery, his last hope.
The plan is to create a permanent hole so the gas goes out the side of his abdomen. I'm going to make the first skin incision, so I'll show you how long it is, and then you can carry on. Okay, so again.
As soon as the first incision is made, Dr. Carmalt lets student Tara Trimble join in.
So far, if you want to kneel down.
I've never done a ruminostomy before, and getting to do it was great because this is a procedure that you will do out in the field.
As you come down towards the bottom, lift your hand so we don't go any further.
4-month-old JC ate rat poison. Student Sandy Jameson and intern Dr. Catherine Myrna search for poison pellets in the dog's vomit.
Little dog had a very large meal this morning, which it threw up all over the floor. That's good because it'll reduce the amount of absorption of the actual toxin. And it did look like there may have been a little bit of rat poison in the one pile of vomit.
I'm not sure if that's in the food or what that is.
That is kind of the color. It's the sort of iridescent green. This drug is handy because it looks iridescent and blue-green and should stand out. Those could be a little bit of rat poison. So I'm very happy with what we found. What do you think?
Well, I think he looks bright right now, and I think we caught him very early, which is good, so we should have vomited up anything that he did ingest.
Because JC was treated within an hour of eating the poison, he appears to be safe. But his owner will have to monitor him closely over the next few days.
I got lucky, very, very lucky. So, bravo, little man.
JC's owner, Hal Landrio, is anxious to have his little buddy back.
It was a birthday present.
JC! Hey, JC.
Feeling pretty perky.
My little boy.
It is good that you brought him in quickly.
Better be safe than sorry, eh, buddy? Hey, JC. Hi, baby. Boy.
The great horned owl is recovering from an injured wing. Student Nathan Bodner has been caring for the owl he affectionately named Hoot. It is his job to prepare him for flight training.
This guy's a little bit thinner than what he should be, so we're trying to fatten them up a bit. Quite an honor to handle some of these beautiful wildlife that we get in here.
Over the next few weeks, Hoot is trained hard in the flight cage by Dr. Shrubsole.
I'm going to be putting Hoot on the ground and then seeing if he can gain height and fly. He's been in captivity for probably about 3 or 4 weeks right now, so it doesn't disappoint me a lot that he can't fly back and forth. The plan will be to have the students and the team on his case to chase him back and forth daily and, you know, help build up his muscle, and then we'll probably reassess him.
Even if the great horned owl can fly again, his chances for release are far from certain. Hoot needs to pass an eye exam to ensure that he can see well enough to hunt in the wild. Poindexter the calf is having surgery to put an end to his gas problem.
Okay, so your job, Doc, is to hold on to that rumen.
The surgical team needs to pierce a hole in the rumen, the first of the cow's 4 stomachs, if they can just hold on to it.
So have you lost the rumen?
Did.
Don't let it go. Oh, good catch. I really thought.
Student Tara Trimble is learning the first lesson of this surgery.
Not to let go of the rumen as it's contracting.
Once they've made the hole, Tara stitches that section of the rumen to the body wall. When it heals, the opening will become a pressure valve of sorts.
Show them the hole. The animal is left with a permanent hole in its side, and hopefully in the position that it's in, when the rumen is collapsed or when there's no gas in it, it'll actually curl in on itself, and when the animal gets bloated, it will open up and release the gas.
A tube will keep the wound from closing over while it heals.
Okay, Tubbs. Now he's going to be a little wobbly just because of the anesthetic. This way.
Wojo the poodle wouldn't be this excited if he knew what lay ahead.
Wojo! Wojo, wait! Come this way! He's quite an independent little fella. And he'll just dart everywhere, back, forth, up and down and all over.
At first glance, Wojo appears perfectly healthy, but Shirley Newsom is so concerned about her poodle, she's taking him to the veterinary college for surgery.
Boy, that's better. Good boy.
Wojo's vet referred the dog to the teaching hospital after discovering a fatty mass under the dog's front leg.
He has a tumor, and so they're going to check it out, and he'll probably have surgery tomorrow. There you go. Good boy. Yes, I know you're nervous.
The mass is probably benign, but Shirley can't relax until a biopsy is taken. Coming up.
We wouldn't want to release an owl that was potentially blind in one eye.
It's time for Wojo the poodle's surgery, but student Emma Agg has a bad case of nerves.
This morning I woke up and I was nervous. I come from a large animal background, or that's where my experience is.
I know he's got a mass under his armpit.
That doesn't seem to be painful. The owner noticed it about 6 months ago, and it's been growing, so it's something that she's concerned about, and rightly so. It can either be very serious or it can be nothing.
We're just going to do routine blood work to make sure that there's no signs of underlying infection or any other signs of illness.
But Emma's small patient poses some big challenges.
Got very thick, curly hair, which doesn't make it easy to feel your vein, to feel muscle. I tried to hit the brachiocephalic vein on the dog's arm.
Try again. New needle.
That did not go very well, so we moved over to the hind legs.
Oh my God, I can't believe how hard this is.
The veins in large animals, the ones you try and hit are about this size, so you can basically not miss it. And I was trying to hit something that was probably about 1/4 of a diameter of your typical drinking straw.
Finally, success. Once the blood test results confirm Wojo's well enough for surgery, it's off to the operating table to have the mass under his front leg removed.
Good boy.
Poindexter's bloating days are over.
It's 4 days after the surgery, and I'm going to remove this syringe case that we've been using to keep the hole open.
A permanent hole that leads into his stomach will act like a pressure valve.
It'll just open when enough gas pressure builds up, and basically this is the way that the calf can now burp. Hopefully he'll go home tomorrow and grow up and become a nice big steer.
Student Emma Agg watches over Wojo as the poodle is prepared for surgery. A mass under his front leg needs to be removed and checked for cancer.
We're going to do an excisional biopsy, which is where you take the mass and some of the surrounding area, and then you send that whole mass for lab work.
Emma thinks she'll be assisting, but surgical resident Dr. Gillick has other plans.
I just assumed that I wouldn't be doing a whole lot except for sponging when he said sponge and passing him the odd instrument or two. And then he suddenly said that I would be doing the surgery. I'm excited that I get a bigger role. It's going to be such a great experience.
We're cutting. Good. There we go.
I can feel the mass, which feels just like a ball of fat. It's really easy to tell from the normal tissue. It's easy to feel that it doesn't belong there.
Meanwhile, Wojo's owner, Shirley, anxiously awaits the outcome of the surgery.
I'm a little bit nervous. There's always risks doing any type of surgery. And because he's my little Wojo, it's always, a bit of a worry.
Student Nathan Bodner has spent weeks working in the flight cage with a great horned owl he named Hoot.
Hoot's doing really well. At first, he couldn't really get any height, but he's now able to fly back and forth pretty well and gain some height, and that's mainly what we were looking for. Every day is gaining a little bit more strength and a little bit more muscle back in that wing.
Hoot passes the flight test. There's only one more hurdle between captivity and freedom, an eye exam. Faculty ophthalmologist Dr. Bruce Grahn is the last checkpoint on Hoot's long road to recovery.
We wouldn't want to release an owl that was potentially blind because they use their vision so much to hunt.
Resident Dr. Alana Shrubsole waits anxiously for the results. If Hoot passes the eye exam, he's free to fly. If he fails, he can never go back to the wild.
Feel any nice big throbbing blood vessels or anything else that we may worry about?
Student Emma Agg is removing a mass from Wojo, the poodle. It's the first time she's performed this type of surgery.
Yep, that's it. We already got her up there. Yep, just keep going there. That's it. Good. All right.
Comes out just like a little ball of Play-Doh. It's very one lump that just comes out all together.
She's doing such a great job that Dr. Gillick leaves Emma to finish the procedure on her own.
I have a feeling I'm going to scrub out. Okay. Good work.
I think the surgery went really well. It's going to be a big improvement for Wojo not having a big lump of fat under his arm.
Coming up, it's Independence Day for Hoot the Owl.
He's passed every test successfully and he's ready to go back to the wild.
Whoa, you're ready to get out of here.
There's good news for Wojo. The poodle doesn't have cancer. The mass removed from under his leg is benign.
He is happy, ready to go home and wagging his tail and just can't wait to see his mom.
I'll be really glad to see him. I've missed him.
Hi, Wojo. Hi, Wojo. How's my boy? How's my boy? Hey, you want to go home?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful to see him.
Let's go home. This way.
Attaboy.
Weeks of flight training and rehabilitation come down to one final test. Can Hoot see well enough to survive in the wild?
He looks great. I don't find any abnormalities at all. His retina is normal. He looks great for releasing, so I don't have any concerns.
Good, that's very good news.
Next up for Hoot, the clear blue skies of home.
He's passed every test successfully and he's ready to go back to the wild.
2 months and countless hours of rehabilitation later, all the students who helped with Hoot's recovery are here to send him off.
When you get to see him release, that's kind of your thank you for a job well done.
I'll let him go on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, he looks great, yay! That was awesome.
It's just that it's awesome to see him fly so well and get back out into the wild.
It feels great. It's finally a happy ending, and it's very rewarding to rehab an animal and then watch them fly away in the distance.
Quite often when they're intimidated, they will snap their beak together, and that's kind of their warning call to tell you that they're not happy with you, and it's kind of their defense call. So they're just telling you that, you know, get away from me.